assigned by God or assigned by circumstance? Well, that's where it gets interesting, and that's where I analyze further. What about this arbitrary constant of individuality? Well, upon analysis, I realized the constant was not constant. It actually changed over time. It varied with the individual, with their feelings, attitudes, morals, values. All of these change over time, and so that affects the value of C. Well, what is the value of C? Well, I have arbitrarily assigned it a value between 0 and -1. And I have assigned a value to U as 1. So, in the end result, you would get a value between 0 and 1. Well, as you approach 1, at least according to my analysis, you approach enlightenment. And when you approach 0, you would be very non-enlightened, very selfish indeed, with a whole range of humanity all scrunched down between 0 and 1. Why did I do this? Well, I guess so it will be perhaps a little easier to put things in perspective instead of having huge variations in the value of C. I have arbitrarily chosen to have it between 0 and -1. So the whole result, U plus C, is between 0 and 1. 0 being very non-enlightened, 1 being enlightened. So as C approaches 0, 1 approaches enlightenment. Of course, I guess if you're human, you'll probably never be totally enlightened. In other words, C will never be 0. But it could get very, very close. And at some arbitrary small value, well, for all practical purposes, you become enlightened. Well, now, let's move along here. This arbitrary small value of C, which one approaches enlightenment with, is C sub E. Its value would be very close to 0, and as of yet is not determined. Many factors go into this C, this arbitrary constant of individuality, including factors of circumstance, factors of your value system, of your attitudes, and factors of, well, situations, that is, of what you do, of what you experience. Anyway, and probably a host of other factors go into it as well. So this, because there's all these complicated factors involved in C changes over time. Also, empathy and love, of course, increase as C approaches 0. Well, now, let's move along to some more properties of the imaginary territories. Well, in addition to some of the properties I stated earlier, there's a property of affiliation. That is, we have affiliation with common attitudes, values, morals, faith, and whatnot. We feel bound and attracted to other people with these, and we feel we should work with them. This is important, for we feel we are part of a larger mission with them. Also, we feel that spirits or beings of the imaginary territories, these ideas, these energized ideas, would be attracted to us. That is, they would be of the same values, morals, faith, aptitudes, and whatnot. So, all of that, the more you have in common with this imaginary energy being that is attracted to you, well, the better things would go. And the more you could get done together as a team. So that's why typically like attracts like here, with similar energy thought beings being attracted to you as the thoughts energy you have, as reflected by your attitudes, what you're good at, your morals, your typical behaviors, and so on. In addition to this, there is an attraction to a certain sort of fun. In other words, what you enjoy, they enjoy. And, well, they want you to have fun, so they'll have fun. In addition to this, there's choreographed movement is a characteristic of the imaginary territories. This could be typified by large groups of people dancing together, all in the same motion, all doing it perfectly and swiftly, as if they are very professional. Typically, they may not be, but somehow they could pull off this feat of great choreography. And this choreography extends to beyond just the group of people dancing. Also, in sequence with them would be the beings of the imaginary territories. Well, what else is there? Well, there's of course hope that someday the imaginary territories will become real, in the sense that everyone will come to know them. Well, what could create such a situation? According to theory, there are three conditions that could create widespread realization of the imaginary territories, in particular the one I'm from, the East Side, as I call it, with its honesty and fairness and so on. Anyway, so the three conditions that could create widespread feeling of the imaginary territories, where everyone will come to know them, so to speak, would be if everyone or large groups of people had enough faith that it will come to be. This is often coupled with a desperate situation of some sort, causes the favorable conditions for intervention from the imaginary territories, that is, on a large scale, where most of humanity would be able to feel it. The third cause is just a random event, which is unknown or unexplainable. And this random event is assumed to be a very rare cause of intervention from the imaginary territories. The more common causes for interventions, as I said, are faith, that is, believing that they really exist and really can help you. And, as I said, this is often coupled with a desperate situation. Well, if it's just one person, well, perhaps imaginary territories will intervene on your behalf. You'll feel their excitement, joy, and ecstasy. As you know, help is on the way. However, on Northeaster's Day, as I call it, this would be extended to the rest of humanity, and all of humanity will suddenly be aware of this feeling